Now, how may I be of service? Gracious, passing fine ash thou'st given. Let this ash bestow. I only hope these new wares content thee.
There's my key. Might as well buy this just so I have it.
Ashen one.
Any new more souls? Yeah. Hope first I should get this guy to kill him. I think the ring is free, but I don't remember for sure, so.
O thou art unkindled, I look not if substantiation be thy want, this sad. Oh, belike it is a transposing kiln in thy possession. Seen better days, but now, transposition is the art of extracting and coalescing the essence of a soul. In transposing a twisted soul, its true power transferreth to thee. Thy purpose is to seek lords and slay them. What's to fear in a little transposition now? Now.
Welcome home, Ashen. Speak thine. Very well. Then take nourishment from.
Let these souls withdrawn from their manifestations of disformity.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flame. Welcome home. Speak that. Very well. Then take nourishment.
Let these souls withdrawn from their
Farewell, Ashen One.
Oh, that was dumb. I should probably go save that girl quick. Get the miracle lady. How'd the invasion go? For the invasions, do you get pale tongues if you kill the guys in blue, or do you have to kill the host? I know at least in some of the games you can get some of the achievements for certain covenants just by killing the randoms they summon in, but I didn't know if there was somewhere you had to actually get the host himself. I don't do a lot of invading.
Is someone there? Please. Whoever the dark surrounds me, nibbles at my flesh. Little creatures. They never stop biting. So... yes, there you are. So close, indeed. Then I am not entirely alone just yet. Praise the merciful gods above.
All you faceless undead, behaving as if you deserved respect. Now you're poking around in people's cells. Oh. Taking an interest in her, have you? Well, she's a lost cause. Couldn't even become a firekeeper. Oh, she's beyond repair, I tell you.
Never really tried to get those. I've gotten a few of them, just when I needed to change a character, but never put a lot of time into trying to grab them. Usually I just get them, I think you get them from those Dark Wraiths before the Farron boss. Can't remember though, I have to check. Yeah, I can't remember which item it was that I had to get, but I was killing those Silver Knights outside of Anor Londo for like 6 hours one day to get all the items I needed for whichever covenant that was. Yeah, Proof of a Concord, that was the one. The one plus side is I'm really good at that area now because I got so used to parrying and backstabbing those freaking knights. I think I had 200 Titanite shards by the time I was done doing that. Heal up completely, now I should survive at high. There we go. No way. Ha ha ha, that's what you get, you idiot. That's funny. I don't even care if I don't get her sword. I'm not making a strength build. Suck it. Never had that happen before. Of course, I've never been parried by her before either, or visceraled. None of that bullshit. Right here. Nope, right here. There we go. No, one of them fell off. Yeah, buddy? Did you eat your potatoes?
Huh?
Did you eat your potatoes?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Huh?
Let me see.
Oh, I did. No, I didn't.
Oh, hello. How do you do? I am Anri of Astora, unkindled like you. This is Horace, a friend and travelling companion. Are you too in search of the Lords of Cinder? We are well along the road of sacrifices. Below us is the crucifixion. Beyond the flooded woods, we seek the cathedral, home of the grim Aldrich. We may go our separate ways now, but we are both seekers of lords. The next time we cross paths, one may find the other in a time of need. May the flames guide your way. Oh yes, Horace. He's not very talkative.
God, that tracking is insane. Yeah, I've never had him try to heal that many times. It's been a very unique playthrough with a couple of enemies. Doing weird stuff I'm not used to. That was terrible timing.
I am Sirius, of the Sunless Realms, former servant of the divinity. Duties we each bear, but one's duty is a solitary affair. I doubt we've much to gain from fraternization. Blessing of the moon upon your journey. Welcome home. Speak very well. Then Tuthaken.
Do you have a specific build in mind for a level 65 range?
Farewell, Ashen One.
Ah, 'tis good to see ye in good health. What needs smithing this day? Prithee, be careful.
Heavens. Heavens.
Oh, this and I. Then shall we bear her? Be safe.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not... Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think?
if you're gonna go Faith, I would say rather than doing the raw Faith, try the blessed Faith. And throw like this Kestis or Cestus or whatever in your other hand, and have it be blessed as well. I think then you can heal like 12 or 14 a second. You've got to add a couple other items to heal up massively, but those two alone are supposed to help pretty much. I know there's a spell that can get it all the way up to like 25 health recovered a second or something like that, but you'd have to cast like 3 spells before you start fighting to get that, and odds are you're not likely to get that many spells off before the fight starts. You're a strength character, right? Some of those weapons you were talking about took a lot of strength. You could run the Lothric Knight Greatsword and still get some electric damage in. And if you bless it, it will still heal you. So then you would have the healing and the electric damage that would go with your faith boosting. And I think when you run a faith build for blessed, I think you usually stop faith at like 35 or something, even to max it. Because blessed itself actually does physical damage, so I think you only need enough faith to use whichever of the healing spells or whatever you would want to put with that. That replenishment buff. I think it's called something Sunlight, or Sunlight Replenish, or something that starts you with that automatic healing. I think that's what you're supposed to cast at the start of the fight when you're doing a blessed build. Get out of here, you stupid fucking bastard. God damn it. Fucking cunt. Why didn't the Crystal Lizard come back? Do I have to fully teleport out? Oh, he's weak to bleed. I didn't even know that. I'll take it. Ridiculously overpowered motherfucker. Most people have no trouble with that fight, but I usually have to fight him 2 or 3 times. Some BS spell always manages to catch me. Like that one that tracked me for a mile and then hit me in the back when I was smacking him. I heard you can parry him when he smacks you, but I can't try it with this setup.
Welcome home, I speak thine. Very well, then touch the darkness with Hignup. Farewell, Ashen One.
Yeah, it's funny how different people's perspectives can be on bosses. I know a lot of people really hate fighting that, Osiris. And I've never really had any trouble with him. Dancer I used to have a lot of trouble with, but then I learned that the Dancer's weak to bleed. And then I started getting her good with the bleed damage. Don't think I can sneak up on this guy. I've never made a pure bleed build. I've used bleed on the side, but I've never made a focused one because I've always read that they don't work very well. They're too easy to combat. And there aren't a whole lot of bosses that can be bled, are there? I would love to run a poison build because just the concept of poison I've always liked. Even when I played Pokemon, when I did a mono-type build, I always did poison. But then, I don't think any of the Dark Souls games can do a really good poison build. I mean, it's possible, but it's more just about you being so talented that you can make it work rather than it being a super viable run. When this game has so many ways to cure poison and stuff like that. Every time you put poison on, there's a good chance somebody's gonna have an item that will take care of it. I always get the poison mist ability in Dark Souls 1, but I usually just use it to save Solaire. Cause you can go up to that door and just spit it through the doorway and kill that little spider or whatever that's gonna take over his mind. I've never tried a luck build. I've heard that's a good setup, but I've just never pulled the trigger on trying one. I had a Moonlight Greatsword build that I really liked. That thing is pretty OP. And then I had a Lothric Knight Greatsword that was blessed. And that was another build that hit really hard. I hope they make a Dark Souls 4, and I hope that they look more into the options for Frost and Blessed and Bleed and all that stuff. I'd like to see some of those side things become more prominent. Because for the most part, everybody runs the same couple builds with slight variations if they have a preferred weapon or something like that. I'd like to see it branch out more. When I get invaded, I always either see a basic lightning build, or a twin sword build, or a huge claymore or fume knight sword or something like that to lay the huge smackdowns. I love it on that rare occasion where I get someone who's running like a whip as their primary weapon or something like that. Yeah, they also said that there wouldn't be a Demon Souls remake though. So now that they have the Demon Souls remake coming, I'm starting to be more hopeful that a Dark Souls 4 could happen. the story of these games is so obtuse that it wouldn't be hard to open up that path either. The lore is deep and it's really interesting, but there's never really any sort of conclusive endings or singular paths. So there's... leaves me open for the hope. I love Bloodborne. I'd love to see a Bloodborne 2.
Now, I need you to a proper flip if you...
Sekiro was alright, but you just don't have enough options in Sekiro. You have to use that one sword.
Never fail.
And it annoys me that you can't get other weapons. You can't really change your clothes or anything. It's just follow this one path. And then that final boss in Sekiro is just so brokenly difficult. My favorite build in Bloodborne so far is a Blood Tinge build that I made with, can't even remember the name of the pistol. But, yeah, Sekiro is definitely, like, just kind of broken. Like, after all these other games they made, people realized that there's a pattern to it. Dark Souls will always be kind of hard, but once you've beaten it a couple times, a lot of this stuff gets easy, especially some of the bosses. It just gets to the point where you can beat them in your sleep if you get the pattern down. So these games are hard primarily for a first playthrough, and then once you get the feel for it, it's not bad. And I think they wanted something that would stand the test of time difficulty-wise. So when they went with Sekiro, they're like, well, we have to make difficulty reach the next level. And the only problem is, to make the difficulty reach the next level, they had to make a few bosses that were just plain broken. And it wasn't about being good, it was just, you have to have a level of luck, or like that final boss. He's just, I mean, I even watched a video of, what's his name? It's a long, ridiculous name, and he talks about his assistant Rothgar when he's playing through streams and raging before he learns how to choose bosses. Tyrannicon or something like that, I think his name is. He had this cheese, and he made the final boss look so easy, but even then, the cheese didn't even work completely. I tried it like 20 times, and it was just... the perfection in his timing was so insane. Just to make a cheese viable. It's rare that even when you figure out how to cheese the game, it takes like nth level reflexes.
My very own home now.
Yeah, Sekiro had some strong points. The world was really cool, the lore was really cool, and the concept of parrying was interesting, but the problem for me with parrying was that parrying wasn't an option. It was literally the only way you could achieve anything. There were some bosses that you could really only damage by parrying them. Like, if you didn't parry them, there was really nothing you could do. Parrying in the Marakiri counter, or Makiri counter, or whatever it was, where you stomp down on the thrusts. Basically, you had to do those. I'm fine with those being an option, obviously, because I love it when you have a bunch of options, but when that's all you can do, it got frustrating and pretty boring. even when I was started doing it really well, it was still just like, well, I just do the same thing every single time. Sneak up and kill or parry. Sneak up and kill or parry. It felt like they kind of drew you into a corner. You only have this option because this is how we keep it difficult, sort of thing. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. The thing about Jedi Fallen Order, though, is that that was a lot easier. So even though you had to do that, the only time parrying and stuff was difficult in Fallen Order, for me at least, was the final fight, the final boss fight, and when you fought that other big massive chick, number 7 or whatever the lesser of the two Sith chicks was. Hers was pretty difficult. And the last time you fought the final boss, she was pretty difficult. But even then, it became a pattern. Once you learned how her long-range attack worked in the second phase of the final fight, mastering that long-range swipe thing she did made the rest of it pretty straightforward and manageable. You get into the final fight of Sekiro and the bad guy just pulls out a Glock in like the second form and starts firing a regular pistol. Like, it's not something he's got to shoot and load, and he just starts spraying bullets into you like it's 1998 or something. It feels completely broken from the rest of the story. You come down here so you can get shot with arrows. That seems like a positive life choice for me. Oh wow, I didn't expect it to hit that fast. I should have. Wrong button, wrong button. There we go. Smack him. Smack him. Can you bleed? I think you're a skeleton. I don't think you can bleed. Oh god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh. Ah, you cheap sack of shit.
What did you fight? Ah!
What do you want, buddy?
I don't know. When you have some time to think, okay?
Yeah, that's a pretty good description. About halfway the fun kind of dies off. Then the fights get just kind of ridiculous. It was all still manageable though until that final fight. Like, the owl I didn't struggle too bad with. He was manageable. Both times, really. The second time, it became purely just learn these buttons, hit these buttons in this pattern, and do it over and over again. Kind of like when you fought that butterfly. She's another fight like that, where it's just about you're going to hit the same 4 buttons 8 times, and then 8 more times, and then 8 more times, until she dies. Because she was so overpowered that if you didn't do it this certain specific way, you were never going to land a shot. Yeah, they said that Elden Ring is supposed to be a lot like Dark Souls. I don't know how close it's gonna be, but they made it sound like almost as if, since so many people have complained about wanting a Dark Souls 4, that they've kind of put more Dark Souls elements back in compared to Sekiro, which was a cool game, but too hard at the end and too much of its own thing, which, I mean, is what they were going for. That's what they wanted, is they wanted to branch out. I think they're kind of like the Pokemon Company, honestly, because when you hear the Pokemon Company talk about their new games and stuff, they just don't give a shit. They're still making the Pokemon games because people will still pay money for them, but they have no passion, they have no interest in innovating. The Pokemon they create for each generation just gets stupider and stupider and more drawn towards 5-year-olds. And it's dying slowly, and it's sad. And I felt like that's kind of the way FromSoft has felt about their games. Like, they're more passionate about the lore, but they don't feel that longevity with their games. They want to branch out and do new things all the time, and so far, for the most part, when they do it, it works out pretty good, but I'm worried that they're going to end up making their own version of Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Sun and Moon or some of those fucking terrible Pokemon games that we've been dealing with recently. So far, even Sekiro being, in my opinion, the worst game they've made yet, it was still a good game. Like, stand alone all by itself, you could play that game. Even being disappointing for what the series is. Very solid. But Pokemon, I haven't enjoyed a Pokemon game since Ruby and Sapphire, really. Black and White was okay. Black and White kind of went back in a good direction, and I started to feel a little bit more confident about it. But then it just totally tanked. But because they're making Pokemon games, people will just keep feeding them money no matter what shit they put into it. Just like Madden. I was a huge Madden fan. I don't buy them now until they hit $19.99 or so. Because it's just, every year it's the same game. You're paying for an update in rosters. And I'm not going to spend $65 on a roster. In college, I was willing to pay the money even though the games didn't change, because we would have like 20 and 30 man leagues. So then it was worth it for just how much multiplayer you got to do. But when I'm buying the game for myself, it's just nowhere near worth all that.
Welcome home, Ash. Speak thine heart's desire. Very well, then touch the dark, take nourishment. Like these souls withdrawn from their vessels. Farewell, Ashen One.
You know I'm a bit well. Everyone's dead. I might as well. Well, thank you, Gruntilla.
Yeah, I used to love all of those games. I would even buy hockey and stuff a lot of the time. Hockey and
goodbye.
Soccer, and even though I don't watch those sports normally, it's just I enjoyed playing the sports games with friends and stuff, but just now, and the YouTubers are the worst about it because you get those idiot YouTubers who push the loot boxes in Madden, like that make your own team stuff where you buy the cards. So now all of Madden's money goes into making those cards, and so the people who want to play the actual game, want to do franchises, want to do stuff like that, we don't get anything. I thought there was a little guy right there. Yeah, some of those loot box idiots have gotten sued by countries. America will never do it because we're so diehard capitalist. Anything that'll make money. Nobody cares how much you hurt people with it, or how much damage it does to the quality of stuff. Money, 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 money. Man, that's definitely not what I was trying to do. Hit this chick.
Huh?
She's so overpowered. Yeah, I'll make you corn dogs just a minute, buddy.